Okay guys, just finished adding some hot pink dye to my deck here, my uncut. You always want to make sure before you dye any uncut, any deck, anything, especially one that comes nude, you want to make sure you get all of the lacquer off before you dye it. So if you notice these little blotches right here, I mean, they look pretty cool, but that's where the lacquer wasn't sanded down enough. The red spots here are where the majority of the sanding was, as compared to this side. This side was completely sanded. I don't know if you can tell the difference or not on video. Anyway, this will look pretty cool regardless, but just make sure that you give it a really good sanding. I did this on purpose to kind of show you the difference in a sanded completely deck and one that's not. So right now I'm just gonna remove the painter's tape. Okay, and as you can tell with the painter's tape here, it gives you a really super clean edge with a natural middle. Okay, go ahead and remove all this real quick. So now that all the tape's removed, as you can tell, I have a super clean edge here. Okay, this is the way I do things. I'm sure other people dye the whole uncut before they cut, but for me, this kind of makes it a little cleaner. Anyway, now that the dye is dried, I removed the tape. Now I'm going to spray with lacquer. Okay, one is going to brighten up the stain a little bit, and it's going to add some protection. So there's a couple of ways to apply lacquer to your decks. One, the cheap route. You can get just a spray can of lacquer. Okay. And then you can actually get like an air sprayer. Okay. This one's electric. It's cheap. I got it at Harbor Freight. I think maybe 20 bucks. It plugs up. I actually didn't feel like buying a compressor at the time. So I've been using this for years. I think I'm going to change to the compressor next. But what it is brushed lacquer, okay, in a spray gun. But the issue is you're going to have to thin your lacquer with lacquer thinner. People do 80% lacquer, 20% thinner. I do kind of, I don't know, 70-30. 75-25, 75% lacquer, 25% lacquer thinner. Okay, because if not, it's going to clog your nozzle up and it's not going to be able to spray. So depending on what type of lacquer you use, you might need to apply a coat and then do like a light sand with like maybe 600 grit sandpaper, wipe it down, and reapply another coat. Just kind of depends on what you're using. Okay. So I'm about to grab my gun here and I'm about to apply some lacquer. Okay guys, so remember, when you're applying lacquer, you want to apply it like spray paint. Strokes. You don't want to put down a heavy layer. What's going to happen is gravity takes effect and it's going to puddle, and you're going to have dried puddles of lacquer along the edges of your deck. Okay, so it's going to be pretty loud, but I'm just going to make some passes back and forth. Alright, now, as you can see, it's got a pretty big shine to it. This is semi-gloss, so it's gonna dry. I leave it to dry overnight, and then tomorrow morning I'll put another coat and get it ready to screen print. So if you guys have any questions, just please comment. Like always, I try to answer as many questions as possible. And please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel, trying to give you guys some pointers on making your own decks at home.